Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about the beloved Instagram app, what we're all just a little bit addicted to. So, yeah, I basically wanted to talk about Instagram and how it's kind of affected me in a way, and basically my thoughts on social media apps. So as you know by the title of this video, I have no social media apps on my phone. I have been doing this for I don't know, a year now, for several reasons. So I don't have Instagram on my phone, I don't have Twitter, I don't have Facebook. The only thing I do have on my phone is Snapchat, but I literally only use it for the filters. I don't even have anybody on my Snapchat really. So yeah, so basically about a year ago, more so in college, I was really, constantly on Instagram, and I was just one day I don't know, paying more attention to what I was doing. I don't know what mood I was in this morning, but I woke up and the first thing I did was grab my phone and check Instagram. And I don't know why I stopped for a second. I was just that's bad that that's the first thing I do in the morning, but I was okay, whatever. And then I started to notice throughout the day that literally every free second that I had, I would grab my phone to aimlessly scroll through Instagram. And it was at that point where I was just no, this is bad. I need to stop. This is crazy that I wake up and I grab my phone, or every second of the day I'm checking Instagram. So I started to notice that, and then once I started to become self-aware of how many times I was checking Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and stuff, I then started to realize my mood as I was checking these sites. So obviously, again, just becoming self-aware of how many times I was checking it, and then I would notice that every time I would check it, after I would get off of Instagram, I would just feel crappy for some reason. I would just feel sad, and I didn't know why, because I would just be having a normal day, I would be fine, and then all of a sudden my mood would change. So that's where I was just okay, maybe I need to not be on Instagram anymore. And I decided to delete the app off Instagram, and that's when I really started to realize how much I would actually go on it. So when I deleted the app off my phone, I was okay, let me just go through the day without going on Instagram. Let's just see how this works. So literally, I would find myself grabbing my phone, going to check it, and I'm oh wait, I don't have the app. Then I would be okay, whatever, I'm gonna just do something else. Then I would find myself going to check my phone again, and that's where it was all clicking to me, and I was just wow, we my generation, I just feel everybody nowadays is just so addicted to just aimlessly and unconsciously grabbing their phone and just scrolling. And a lot of times we're just not aware of it, and I didn't realize this until I kind of took myself out of that situation and deleted the app. And I feel my mood changed so much more when I had that app off my phone, because I think that one thing that we kind of have to realize is that some of us are good with social media. Nothing really affects us. We'll scroll and it's just kind of whatever. But I do know that I'm not the only one that kind of goes on Instagram and you're scrolling and consciously you're just oh, okay, whatever, I'm just looking at this picture or whatever, but then subconsciously you're getting all these thoughts and feelings that are just registering to your mind unconsciously, and you're not realizing that. You begin to compare yourself to this girl, or you see people taking these trips and you're I wish I could take a trip like that, or I wish I had a body like that, or I wish I had those clothes. And I feel we really need to become more self-aware of what we're kind of doing to our minds mentally, because I feel like a lot of times we don't realize how taxing social media apps can be to our mental health, and we don't even realize it because we're just so wired to just pick up our phone, aimlessly scroll, put it down, and then, you know, pick it up again, and we're just like not even noticing that, wow, I just picked up my phone like 10 times in the last hour. I was just scrolling through Instagram. Like, have you ever like laid in bed, like let's just say your alarm went off at like 8 and you grab your phone, you're scrolling through Instagram, and before you know it, it's literally 8:30 and you're just like, oh crap, like I really have to get up, and you didn't even realize that you're sitting there scrolling through Instagram for like 30 minutes, or Twitter, or Snapchat. And it's crazy that that's like the first thing we think of the first time we wake up in the morning. And I really wanted to just like talk about this because I know that there has to be other people that feel, you know, kind of down when on social media, or compare themselves to other people, or just like don't even notice that, or kind of like you do notice but you're just like, oh no, it's like not a big deal. But I really like, I personally feel like after doing that, like I'm so much more self-aware about how I feel when I'm on these apps, and like I literally don't even want to download them ever. So for example, like I believe a couple days ago, I re-downloaded the app because I literally post a picture on Instagram like once a year. It's crazy. So I had a picture and I posted it, and I immediately was just like scrolling, and I was just like, oh gosh, like you just feel that feeling of like, oh, here it goes again. And then, you know, after you post a picture, you're like looking for the likes and seeing if it's gonna compare to the last picture you posted, and it's just like you go into this spiral of just like, and it's so automatic too, like it's just like wired where you will just be sitting down not caring about anybody, just worrying about yourself, like going about your day, and then once you pick up your phone and you scroll through Instagram, all these thoughts enter your mind. And it's just so crazy how much it can kind of take over your mind and you don't even realize it. So yeah, I just wanted to film this video to shed some light on like my thoughts on social media and what I do to just help with like my mental health personally. Again, this won't work for everybody, but I do think it's important to, even if you don't delete the app, like you definitely don't have to, because that's just something that works for me, but I do think it's important to just be more self-aware about how you're feeling when on these apps, and to maybe like do something as just like have a time limit on how long you're on the app, or maybe just, you know, go on it every other day. I don't know, it just depends on how you personally feel. And I know for me, like that's just what worked for me, to delete it off my phone completely, because I just feel like why even have that temptation there? And I know it's as easy as like, oh, you can just re-download it, but for me that works. And again, it's not like you're deleting your account, you're just deleting the app off your phone. But I think it's, again, just be more self-aware about how you feel when you're on these apps, and just make sure that you're checking in on yourself and your mental health so you don't go in like a downward spiral, because that's definitely how I felt, you know, like a year ago, where I was just in this downward spiral every time I went on a social media app, and it would kill my mood all the time. And it was just, I was just at the point where it's like, why am I, you know, doing this to myself? So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna look out for my mental health, I'm gonna get off this app. And it definitely has like helped me so much, and I'm glad that, I'm happy that when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I'm not reaching for is my phone, you know. And again, like if that's something you do and it doesn't affect you, that's perfectly fine. Like I'm definitely not someone that's like, oh, if you're grabbing your phone in the morning, like that's horrible. Like no, like if that works for you, that's fine. But if it doesn't, and if you do feel like, you know, your mood is changing, maybe that's something you should maybe not be the first thing you look at in the morning, or again, just like limit how much time you do spend on these social media apps. So yeah, let me know you guys' thoughts down below. I would love to read your comments on this topic, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.